Hey, Bethany.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You recognise my voice. That's good. That's a good sign. See who else is coming on.
How's your week been so far?
Yeah, good. Sunny Tuesday. The sun's shining. Business is up. It's good.
Yes.
Can you see me? I seem to have lost my...
I can see you, but you're also sharing your screen, so...
Yeah. Good. Got it. How's your week been? How's things?
Okay, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been all right. Remember that property I was talking to you about? The land I was talking to you about a few days ago? I did look it up, and you are right. It actually is subject to oh gosh, I've got the term now.
Tree preservation order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
is it all of the trees, though?
Sorry?
Is it all of the trees?
No, so it's not the trees. It's actually the land. Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole land. I think because the land has been vacant for so long, I reckon, I don't know this for sure, but I reckon somebody must have applied for it to be listed as a conservation area. Because at some point there was a residential home on it, and then there were some temporary structures on it. But I think since then they've just decided, it's been vacant for so long, and it's nice just having a piece of country to look at on that road, since it's supposed to be a country. It's a country lane with fields, like large fields on either side, but they're blocked because of the houses and the buildings that you have on the road, so you can't see that. However, so I think people who have tried, or people who own it, and those who have tried to buy it in the past have applied for planning, and all of them have been rejected. So there's planning for number of flats, planning for one big structure similar to the rest of the structures on the street, but to make them into apartments. All of them have been rejected, and the main reason is been because they've not provided a good enough reason to remove that order.
Right. Yeah.
But
they're protecting their community.
They are, but I still think there is a way around it by thinking out of the box, and that's what I've not managed to do just yet. I think, let me see if I can get the what is the time? Oh, sorry, you're supposed to have started. Shut up.
Well, we'll leave it another couple of minutes. It's only 3 of us on at the moment, so we'll.
Okay. And I have the details. Yeah, so they're looking for, the council are looking for special circumstances that might justify granting of the planning permission for development on the site, which I take to translate to, you know, if you give them a good enough reason,
yeah,
then, but I think
what you really need there is a really good planning consultant.
Yeah, I think the land is supposed to be, it's not that, it's just meant to be country.
Yeah, but there's development either side of it.
Yeah, there's development all around it. Well, except to the back, there's a large piece of land to the back.
Yeah, fair enough. The land at the back, but either side of it, and probably either side of those houses that are either side of it also. Is this your? Good evening, Rose and Joshua. Is this your Joshua by any chance?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, this is Joshua. This is Bob.
Hi, Joshua. Good. Hi, Lisa. Is that you, Hannah?
Hi. Sorry, I just realised I didn't have my sound on.
Hi, Hannah. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. We'll just give it another couple of minutes before we make a start. Give everybody 5 minutes to remember.
Yeah, Paul, I've got that definition now. So it said it's conserved as an area of landscape, recreation and conservation.
Right.
I can get some sort of idea around that, especially the recreation part. You can still use it to develop something. It just has to fit into one of those boxes.
Yeah, I think you need a really good planning consultant to get his teeth into that to see what can be done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a piece of land. We were talking about it on another call.
Okay.
So we were just catching up now.
And what's the restriction?
It is listed as a metropolitan open land.
Okay.
Which is another word of saying a green belt, but within the London area.
Mm. And you're looking to build on it?
Well, you can't. Loads of developers have submitted a number of planning permission and have all been denied.
Yeah, I would imagine so, if it's greenbelt.
Yeah.
So what would be allowed on such a land?
Sorry, what was your question, Joshua? Please repeat.
What would be allowed on such a land?
Greenbelt, agricultural probably.
Not just agricultural, actually. An area of landscape, recreation, nature, or scientific interest. That's it. So anything that fits those boxes.
What's your intention, Bethany?
I have none at the moment. I'm trying to, it's just a piece of land I saw not too far from where I am.
Yeah.
And I was looking, Paul recommended I look into the planning history of it, and realised that it doesn't come with planning permission, which is fantastic when you find a piece of land that doesn't come with planning. But you know, there was a reason for that, and it's because it's conserved.
So we had a plot of land with this sort of restriction some years back, and the local governments were open to things like playground for kids. But then the question was, how can we make money off of it? But then there was the same. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say you can't because a couple of months later, there was being marketed on the local, what do you guys have over them? Gumtree or property.co, whatever, property thing, where somebody built this climbing thing. It's like a
climbing
playground sort of thing. It's like a playground sort of thing with loads of wood. Sorry?
Adventure playground type thing?
Right, where you're just climbing and swinging from stuff. And it was insane. It was really heavily visited. But also, perhaps this was specific to where we were. At the same time, they were open to things like Ketas, kindergarten, nurseries. So yeah, I think maybe if you want to build a nursery and sell it off, I don't know what the market for that is like.
Let's
kick off.
Yeah, let's kick off, and we can come back to that. We can come back to your land if you want to discuss it again, Bethany and Joshua. So welcome everybody to the BPG Deal Clinic, which we run every Tuesday on at 7:30. The Black Property Group, thanks for all joining us. The Black Property Group is made up of 4 of us. Hannah, who you can see there, is online. Michael's not with us this evening. Myself and Rosemary. I don't think she's on the call yet either. Together, we had a vision, and our vision was to connect, share, and facilitate. So it's good. It's like I made it up. To connect with the community. So connecting like-minded people, those interested in property, either experienced or on the rise, own a couple of properties, want to do more, or commercial development, or those right at the beginning, but connecting like-minded people that are interested in property. The idea is to share knowledge, our skills and contacts. So everybody's at a different path or a different time in their journey. So by sharing knowledge and skills and contacts, we can all help one another and achieve our third goal, which is to facilitate wealth creation through property. So that's us, the Black Property Group, and that's what we come together for. Connect, share, and facilitate. The poll, have we got a poll running, Hannah? How does that work, sorry?
Yes, we have got a poll running. You should be able to see it up on your screens. So I've got a couple of questions for you. Can you all see the poll?
I can.
Good.
I can't. What am I looking at?
There should be a poll up on your screen which asks you 2 questions. The first question is how many years you've been a property investor, or whether you've not yet started. Can you all see that?
No, sorry.
Are you using a phone, Joshua?
No, I'm using the web browser on my laptop.
Are you using Chrome or?
Yes. Cool.
So so the Zoom app hasn't downloaded for you?
App. Must it be on an app?
Yeah, so usually when you log into Zoom, it normally downloads a tiny widget onto your laptop or your computer.
Right, sorry, okay, good. So that wouldn't happen with this laptop because it's a work laptop and I don't have administrative rights.
Makes sense. That's probably why you can't see the questions. How about others on the call? So Bethany's confirmed that you can see the poll. And Lisa, can you see the poll? Lisa, you there? Rose Ellerton, are you there?
Yes, I can. Sorry. Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Can you see the poll? If you could answer the questions, please. And same with Rose. Rose, are you there? Brilliant.
Yes, I am. I can see the poll.
Hello,
I'm
is
trying
that
to
from
answer it.
Rosemary?
No, that's Rose. Welcome, Rosemary.
Okay. Hello. Sorry about that.
Brilliant.
Lost
Okay,
track of time.
so I can see that for those who can access the poll, that you've can you see the results on the screen?
Hold on.
Can you see the results, Paul?
No.
Okay.
Can you?
Yes, so let me tell you what it says. So in terms of years as a property investor, one person says they've not started. Can I just ask who that is?
It's Rose Ellerton.
Okay, thank you very much, Rose. And then 1 to 5 years experience. Who's that?
Elizabeth.
Thank you very much. Is that Elizabeth? No?
Yeah, Bethany, sorry. Yeah.
I got confused for a moment there. And 6+ years, I guess that's Lisa. Is that yourself? Lisa?
That's Lisa.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, I've muted. I'll stay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll stay.
That's right. That's okay. And then, excuse me, second question is, which best describes you? I have deals but need cash. So there's a couple of you who've said that. Can I ask who that is? Or who's answered that particular question in that way?
Yeah.
Rose Ellerton.
Okay. And someone else?
Bethany.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Ah, yes, I can see your thumbs up. Thank you very much,
I see
Bethany.
that too. That's good.
And I have cash and deals but need knowledge. So who's answered that question?
Me.
Who's that?
Lisa.
No.
Sorry, I have cash and deals but need knowledge.
Lisa.
Lisa, sorry, Lisa. You were very faint. And someone else has also answered that question as well?
There's no one else. Rose.
No? Okay. No worries. Brilliant. Okay, we just really wanted to get some background information from you. That's why we asked the question. So thank you very much indeed for your answers. Okay, back to you, Paul.
Thank you. Okay, so we are across different platforms. Some of you might know already. We have a website, blackpropertygroupuk.com. We also have a Facebook group with over 400 members where you can reach us and get messages there. And also we're on Instagram. So if you're on any of those platforms, do follow us. We're at BlackPGUK across all of those platforms. I think we have a Twitter account as well. Share what you know to help others grow. So this sits with our ethos of connecting and sharing our knowledge. And the whole idea of this deal clinic is for people to come on with their deals so that we can share our knowledge and help you analyze and see if it's a good deal and it's something that you want to take forward or even should take forward. And if the deal's good enough, who knows, we may even invest in it ourselves. So, do we want to talk about that land deal? Does anyone else have a deal? You all said, a few people said we have deals, but no cash. Does somebody have a deal they'd like to discuss with us tonight? You can just message me in the chat box. Does anyone have a deal they'd like to look at tonight? Don't rush. Anyone can do it.
Bethany, do you want to look at your deal?
Should we go back to
Explore
that
the
land deal?
opportunity?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's not much of a deal at the moment. It's just I saw a piece of land in I saw a piece of land in southeast London, and it's in an area that I'm familiar with. I got the particulars come through a few days ago, distressing, which made for distressing reading. But let me see if I can pull it up. So it's a piece of land. It's 500k or I wrote. What's the acronym, or near offer, or offers in the region of?
It's in the region of, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a metro, as I explained earlier, it's a metropolitan open land, which means it is land designated and intended to be protected as an area of landscape, recreation, nature conservation, and scientific interest. So in the last few years, a number of investors have submitted planning applications for residential. So I think some have been apartment blocks, some have been one block made up of apartments. They've all been rejected. And I think the reason, rejected. The overriding reason for the refusal in each case has been the perceived lack of very special circumstances that might justify the grant of planning permission for development on a site which is designated as metropolitan open land. The impact of the openness and the site currently provides in the street scene has been, basically he's just saying that for the fact that it currently provides like an open space, an open country space, residents like that, and I think they're the ones who probably applied for it to be in MOL land. So I guess it's, like I said, it's not much of a deal. The only thing I'm trying to think of at the moment is thinking of outside of box. So most developers think, how many residential apartments or houses can I get on a site like this? But does it have to be residential? What other buildings can you put on it? Or what other businesses can you put on it that will make money and still fit into the MOL classification? Yeah, that's it really.
So first thought that comes to mind for me, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
No, I was going to say, I looked at this with Bethany on another call, and there are houses, there's developments either side of this piece of land. I just thought I'd add that in because she hasn't mentioned that.
Yeah.
And then go, Hannah. I was going to ask your opinion on it, actually.
Okay, well, that was going to be my first question, which is how close is the nearest residential opportunity? And you've just answered that, as in it's adjacent to this particular plot. In terms of the other residential that's close by, is it an estate or is it just a couple of houses, or what sort of street is it?
It's on a country lane.
Okay.
And along the whole lane,
yeah,
there's houses, there's an independent school, there are commercial buildings. The direct neighbours to this piece of land, one is a retirement home, and the other one is just a large, very, very large residential house. So it's heavily residential area, but it just happens that this particular plot, right in the middle, has been empty for a number of years as a result of fire some decades and decades ago. So the building, the original building was brought down, and since then they put up temporary structures, which have since also been brought down, and it's just been left like that. But because on either sides of the road there's like country land.
Mm.
So when you're on the road and you're walking past and you look through this plot, you see country land. I think it's kind of given people the feel that, you know, this is that country feel, that open area feel. And if they block it up again, you won't be able to see the land, which is currently used as a riding school, a horse riding school.
Oh, okay. Does anyone have right of access through that particular land?
No, because it's privately owned and they do have a gate on it, but the gate is not, you know.
Yeah. I think in terms of getting residential on it, the fact that it's got one of those type of quote unquote covenants on it, you're going to struggle. I'd rather go for better low hanging fruit than that. And Joshua mentioned earlier that there was an example where someone turned it into, say, a rock climbing thing. I would look at what recreational facilities the area might be open to.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going to look at the recreational ideas. So it doesn't have to be residential, because they're just not going to accept residential planning applications.
Yeah, which is fair enough, because once it's been designated, that's going to be a hell of a battle almost, to try and change it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd look to explore other opportunities. But then again, it's almost like, I don't know, it depends on what, I think first and foremost, what is your strategy? Because that's what I'm kind of thinking of in terms of the bigger picture. Because this is just a plot of land you've seen, it's on the market for 500k, and it's like, okay, can't really do anything with it. Do I want to actually invest my time and energy and money into exploring opportunities with it when I can, I don't know, walk 2 miles down the road or 5 miles down the road, or drive 10 miles further up the road and see better opportunities? So what's your strategy? That's where I'd start.
Yeah, I mean, I've not really thought about it that deep, because what I wanted to do is do that first layer of research to find out whether it's worth going in deeper. And because I can't put residential buildings on it, I'm thinking it's either I come up with a creative idea as to what to put on it, or I just leave it alone and walk away. I'm not tied into this plot of land at all. It's just something that I saw whilst out and about.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the kinds of things that we like for you to bring so that we can discuss them anyway, because I wasn't familiar with the suggestion that Joshua made. So it's all about really getting the collective to contribute in order for us to come up with some ideas for you. So let me ask you that question again, which is, what is your kind of property strategy, or your business strategy, or your goal for property? Have you decided on what that might look like at the moment?
Well, outside of this actual project, it's mostly residential. I have done a number of commercial conversion courses, but I'm not there yet. I'm still doing, trying to buy up properties that I can turn into HMOs. That's where I am at the moment.
Okay. But long term, you're looking to do commercial. Is that
long term? I mean, I guess maybe in a couple of years or so, I'll review my strategy, or if I find a deal that's too juicy to
let it go,
then I'll take it. But I mean, my main focus is on HMOs at the moment.
Oh, okay.
But
Cool.
I am open to things like lease options.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay, that's good to know. Actually, that's quite a good question for the rest of you. So, Joshua, what's your kind of strategy, if I may ask?
I don't have a strategy per se, but I have a desire, a wish list, if you like. How to get there from where I am is the big question. So, land, to be honest with you. I had, in the last, I think, 8 years or so, been trying to buy land for various reasons and I've been sort of surprised to see how the price of land have gone up and what I would love to do is something I experienced 4 years ago, where literally somebody bought a plot of land, kept it for a while, and then saw who came knocking. And I've seen land go from 56 euros per square meters to 860 within 11 months. But it's getting a lot more expensive, and the challenges there are three things. Number one, obviously, the sort of money to get the sort of size of land that's interesting. Second of all, what one could do with the land between the point of either selling it off or doing something on top of it, because one needs to still pay the mortgage. For example, we bought, I think, 37,000 square meters a few years ago, so about 37 hectares, and we really struggled to do something with it because it was also protected for this kind of reasons. And then there were trees on it, which we were only able to cut down between certain months of the year. And once we missed the window, we couldn't rent it out to people, and then people wanted renting, some people wanted, leasing. Anyway, so yeah, sort of getting the money together to buy something that's big enough to be interesting, and also doing something somehow to generate rent or to pay the mortgage back until someone becomes interested in it.
Yeah.
I thought about things like containers, which is over here.
Sorry, what's your place, Joshua? Because you're saying over here, and I'm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I live in Germany.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I mentioned that up
That's
front.
all right.
Yeah, exactly. So when I moved here, Berlin was literally the cheapest capital in all of Europe. In Europe in terms of price of land, price per square meters, and while I suspect it still is, the price have rocketed, and I don't think they'll get cheaper.
Yeah.
So I'd really, really love to go into land, because also the tax that you pay on it is a lot cheaper than when there's a land plus building. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for sharing. Lisa, I can see you next on my screen. Oh, same question actually. It's quite an interesting question.
I just unmuted myself. So strategy wise, when I first began, it was always, because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad to do just following the book. He says 4 greenhouses and a big red hotel, but I don't want to own a hotel. So then it was just like, a 3+1 strategy. And so now I think it's just more just residential. That's all I like. That's all I stick to, and just building that up. So at the moment I'm working on something. And that's why I've never come with anything, because I've got my hands full. The plot of land is quite a big place. And I'm in the process at the moment of getting planning permission to build 2 houses on the side. So that will be the next step. So I want to turn that 1 house into 3. No, still the house will be there that I bought, but there's room for 2 more.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's going to keep you busy for a little while.
Yeah, my spirit said to me, and it's something I really wish I would have.
I've lost you momentarily.
Done it from the bought it in auction. Sorry, I'm in the wrong room to do that. But what I was saying is that I should have really recorded the whole thing, because from the minute I saw the place, I thought this is like my spirit led me to it. Like I thought, I've got to buy this.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so you're currently going through planning permission to achieve your goals on that.
Yeah, that's been a journey and a half. If there's any solicitors in the group, actually, then I do need a solicitor. But
okay,
I'll drop that in.
I don't know residential solicitor. Okay, we'll put it out. I would put it out in the group. Have you put that in Facebook and or Telegram?
I'm not on the Facebook yet, but I can do it on Telegram.
Okay, yeah, put it in both. Well, are you not on Facebook then?
I am, but I haven't been using it I haven't, for whatever reason, I've connected with you on Instagram and with Telegram, but just not Facebook. But I am on Facebook every day.
Oh, okay. Well, then please do connect with us. Come join the party over there. Thanks for sharing, Lisa. Who else have we got? So, okay, Rose Ellerton, would you like to share with us what your strategy is?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sort of new to everything, but really what I'm looking at is I've managed to get small funds out of my mortgage. So I'm really looking to try and see where I can put them to give me a little bit more in the cash pot, if you like. So my main strategy will be buy-to-let, single-lets mostly, mainly because I don't want to manage them myself or anything like that. So I'm hoping, buy a property, give it to the letting agents and let them get the tenants and, do full management, which I have done in the past, and it worked beautifully then, completely hands-free. And it's exactly what I'm looking for now. So, but it's really because I've got very little money at the moment. I can't go out and buy the property. And whatever little I have, I'm sort of like thinking perhaps I should do a little bit of rent to rent or purchase lease options to try and build up that pot a bit more. I know those are the strategies that don't require too much initial capital. So that's where I'm looking at the moment.
Okay, interesting. Are you looking at London or outside London for your buy-to-let?
Well, outside London, buy-to-let probably outside London, because although I live in London, I do know how expensive it is, and I've just, I don't think I can afford to buy in London at the moment. So I'm really looking, probably my first buy-to-let deals will probably be somewhere up north or Wales side or something like that.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Paul, is there anything you want to add?
No, Ingrid's just jumped on. I don't know if she wants to put in her 2 pennies worth.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, sorry I'm late. I am. Yeah, sorry. No, I've got nothing to. Yeah, no, nothing to add. Sorry.
That's all right. The question we were asking everyone is, what's your sort of goal for property? Is it buy-to-let? Is it commercial? Is it land? Is it something else? Where are you up to with your kind of property goals? What are you in?
I think for me, the goal is I'd like to think I could have like an investment property by the end of the year. I suppose in a way I'm relying on house prices falling or property prices falling. But I have to see what happens because I need to buy a residential property first. So yeah, so I'll see how it goes really. But I plan to have one of those in place by the end of the year. Yeah.
And is that's residential property or
residential property?
Residential.
Yeah, residential property, and then a buy-to-let. I was thinking about HMO because I've done some of the rent-to-rent training. But like many, I've kind of decided that I'd rather buy my own property, and I think, or buy an investment property of my own rather than sort of like rent someone else's property. And that's only really because when I sent out letters and stuff like that to landlords, I sent out quite a lot of letters and got nothing back. And I think it's just like potluck really, someone can send out 100 letters and maybe get 3 responses, and you can send out 400 letters and get nothing back.
Yes, that's very true.
I've decided to just, I think I just buy a property for investment.
Excuse me.
Not necessarily HMO, but just
standard buy-to-let.
Just an investment property, yeah. And my son's really interested in getting involved as well now. He's 21, yeah, he might. Yeah, he's really interested in getting involved as well with a buy-to-let, starting off with a buy-to-let and property development later on in life. So yeah.
Awesome.
Something I want to add on the whole rent to rent thing and ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. I like to own everything. I think rent to rent's a good strategy, cash flow and getting started. But you're kind of building a business on quicksand because you don't own the property. However, if you were to put together a rent to rent with a purchase lease option, then you open up the opportunity for the best of both worlds. So you can get started early with a rent to rent, but with the option to buy it within 3 or 5 years or whatever, or whatever deal you manage to strike. So it's a little bit more secure. You kind of get the best of both. And if I was starting out now and getting into rent to rent, I'd only purely be looking for rent to rent where I've got the option to purchase.
Right. Yeah.
Just that's just for the benefit of everybody, really. As a thought, as an aside.
How does one find? Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
If you think from the seller's point of view or the owner's point of view, what sort of circumstances would make somebody say, well, I want to sell in 5 years' time or 3 years' time, so you can rent off of me and then sell to me in 4 years' time? So what kind of person are we looking for, basically?
Well, I thought about this, and I'll give it to you for free. If you look for properties that are for rent and for sale, they're potential deals. It's as simple as that. And I would typically go through the letting agent rather than the estate agent. Usually it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same agent that's got both. It's going to be the same agency that's got both. But if you see a property that's for sale and also to rent, then the landlord wants to sell, but they can't sell it, so actually we'll rent it. So I'll take your property on a long-term rent and I'll offer to buy it off of you, and I'll negotiate based on where prices are now, hoping for a rising market.
So I saw a property recently which was put up for sale, but didn't get the kind of offer that they wanted. And from what I understand, they decided to freeze everything. Decided to either freeze everything or not put it up for rent to let the whole COVID situation bowl over. So my strategy was going and lowball them. So are you saying rather than lowball them to buy cheap, I should just rent to rent for a while and then pay them back?
I would kind of do both. It's like, look, if you want to sell this property now, I'd offer X, but I don't want to insult you. But I'll tell you what we could do. I could rent your property for the long term and I'll offer you Y, which is not where it is going to be, but you know, within 3 years, I promise to give you this, you know, and maybe they're short of cash. Maybe you could do an exchange with delayed completion and chuck them a little bit of money, and I've got 5 years to complete, or I can pay you lumps of money. With options and deals, and most property deals, it's a blank piece of paper. You can really define the deal structure in any which way you can agree it. So if they want to sell it now, you can lowball them by all means. But if maybe some people can't afford to sell it at that price because their mortgage might be here, or they're only selling it because I need to pay off X. So therefore, I can't accept that price. There's no point me selling it. I might as well rent it. Okay, I'll rent it off you long term, and I'll offer you this, you know, with the right to buy it. Because really, I want to buy it, but I'm happy to rent it off you in the short term, keep your cash flow, and then we can do the deal later on.
So are there special sorts of lawyers that take care of these kind of contracts? Because we got in trouble some years back. We did the same sort of agreement, but we took care of we read the contract ourselves, and we missed out a bit where basically it didn't say that we had to seek his permission to rent it out. And it was the kind of property where they needed to get planning permission, and they would only get planning permission if they get agreement from the person whose name's on the deed. And it basically blocked us.
Yeah.
So are there lawyers for these kind of things?
Yes.
Yes, there are
Yeah.
specialist
Need a
lawyers.
specialised. And what I would suggest as well, if you can get away with it, if it was me in the deal, I would offer to, you can't pay their legal fees, but I'll make a contribution to their legal fees, but I want to control both solicitors. Like, let me get you a solicitor that understands how these deals work. He's working for you, you know, and if you do that, I'll make a contribution to your legal fees. Because what you want really is you want two solicitors that understand how this thing's going to work. Because if he goes away and gets a normal conveyancing solicitor and they come with all of this purchase lease option, rent to rent, right to buy, this, that, whatever, it'll get bogged down. And I've seen solicitors kill more deals than I'd like to think about. So you have to take a holistic view about the deal and try and control as much of it as you can in order to make it work.
Why do you need two solicitors?
He'll need a solicitor. Both sides need solicitors.
Why?
Buyer and seller always needs their own solicitors because you're taking independent advice and money's changing hands and it goes through solicitors. So when you're selling, I have a selling. Sorry, Hannah. Go on.
Does it not work like that in Germany?
No, you have you'd have a notary.
That's why you're confused. I understand.
Right. Am I?
Yeah. So in the UK, that's why, because I was trying to work out why you were thinking you didn't need that. Because in the UK, you need two solicitors, one for the buyer and one for the seller. But obviously, because you're in Germany, it works slightly differently. So you will have to go and have a conversation with your notary / solicitor there and understand how it works in Germany and whether you can do a lease option or not. It might be that you have to do an exchange with delayed completion if such a thing exists in your neck of the woods. But you need an expert in your domain, as in your country, the country where you're.
Well, actually, to answer your question earlier on, my direction is also looking to the UK because things are a bit stringent here. It's a renter's market over here.
Okay,
so it's a really good place to invest.
Okay, so if you're looking to buy in the UK, then as Paul has said, you definitely need one for you, the buyer, and the seller needs their own representation as well. Because remember, the solicitor that you hire, that you pay for, is acting in your interests. That's how it works in the UK. And then the solicitor on the other side is acting for the buyer and acting in the interests of the buyer. That's why you need two separate solicitors. Now, that it could be that you have two solicitors from the same firm, that I've seen. But again, each party needs their own solicitor. That's what's key. And you have to have a solicitor that understands creative contracts. Otherwise, as Paul said, it'll just all go belly up and you'll be like, after all that work.
But the way that you do it is to offer a contribution because everyone's like, oh, more money. Yeah, sure. Let me choose your.
Yeah, you're more likely to get it over the line that way.
Yeah, you're more likely to get it done because you're controlling the deal.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. So we've got 2 minutes. I think we'll try aim to wrap it up. Has anyone got any final questions?
I have one quick question.
Go for it.
Government bounce back loan. Do you know of anybody who has used it to kind of purchase a property or use as a guarantee, given you don't have to pay it back for the first 12 months? If 6 years.
The small print says that you're not allowed to do that.
Who does it?
The small print says that. I have questions on how they're going to police it, but
you don't want to be the random person they pick out to check.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people do whatever they want to do, don't they? I've heard of people doing all kinds of stuff with it. That doesn't make it right.
That doesn't make it right, no. And I always prefer to regret doing something than not doing it. When you're on your deathbed, you would rather regretted the things that you've done, things that you haven't done. I wish I had have done that. So anyway, Hannah's right. You don't want to be the random person that gets pulled, but
Yeah. Also, sometimes people say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
Yes, I
That
like that one too.
depends on how you look at it.
I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed messages.
That's because the small print says, the small print is usually the legislation, the guidance, the rules say, no, you cannot do it.
Yeah.
However, I have personally heard of other people doing stuff. I'm going to leave it there. I think we just
That's it.
So you are not advising me to do that.
exactly.
That's
and
the bottom line. You are not advising me.
Advising you
clause in
go
here.
against the rules.
Yeah.
The rules are there for a reason.
Duly noted.
All right, so
Okay.
I've
Oops.
Those are our numbers. If you want to get in touch with any one of us, those are our contact details. You can join us in the Telegram group. Some of you are already there. If you want those details, we can, we've got those somewhere. Here it is. I knew it was coming. I've lost my screen. Can you still see it?
No.
I see your internet browser.
Yeah.
No, we don't want you to see that. Sorry, one sec. There we go.
Just very quickly, while Paul's sorting out the tech bits, can I just ask, at the top of my screen, I can see Joshua. Joshua, quick question for you. What did you get out of the session today?
Well, I thought, Malmeet?
No.
Sorry, say that again.
No, just checking. So first of all, that the group exists alone was a good thing that I got. I didn't even know the group existed. Also that, well, there are actually professionals there that could actually help out with these things. But more importantly, it's the rent-to-rent deal offer thing. And to be honest with you, what Michael said about the negotiation process starting as a blank page for me was a revelation, because I always thought you'd start from somewhere, otherwise somebody gets insulted, kind of thing.
Brilliant.
But obviously.
So I should have said in 20 seconds, give me your answer, because I'm conscious that we've gone over the 1/4 time now. So very quickly, Bethany, in 20 seconds, what have you got out of the session today?
Your opinions about the bounce back loan. That's quite useful to understand your opinion.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Next on my list is Lisa.
Strategy, to think about it and the importance of it and how everyone thinks differently.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Rose, you're next on my list.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with the tip Paul gave about if you want to have a BTL, why don't you start with rent to rent with a PLO? So I've scribbled that down and I'm thinking, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Ingrid. Ingrid, what's your...
Hi, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I joined a bit late, so I didn't really get to see the whole presentation. But no, it's always good to see everyone and remind myself what I need to do to get on track. So
brilliant. Okay. The reason why I was asking the questions, because we always like to encourage people to give us feedback, public feedback. If you got value from this evening, we'll put the link in Facebook and in Telegram, just so that you can click on it, and please feel free to give us any feedback in terms of how we can improve these sessions for you, because they are for your benefit. Cool.
Perfect. Okay, so can you see my screen now with all of the Facebook, Instagram and Telegram mailing lists? Excellent. So join us on those platforms. We do have a LinkedIn page, Rose, but we're more active on the other platforms. Specifically, Telegram's probably the best one. We post our Twitter feed onto there as well, certain things that we post on Twitter, recent news and updates. But feel free to join us on any of those platforms, join the conversation, join us on the Deal Clinic every week on a Tuesday. If you're actively looking, whatever you're looking at, bring your deals so we can discuss it. you know, if two heads are better than one, then if you've got 8 people having a look at something, making suggestions for you, the whole idea is to share our knowledge and put our heads together so that we can, you know, add value to you and to each other. So that's it, really, I think.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
So thanks everybody for joining, and have a good week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.